Your CPU may be at the heart of your computer, but in order to let your gaming PC truly run at its maximum potential, you need to keep it properly cooled. As your processor works, it can start to get incredibly hot. Once it reaches a high enough temperature, it will dial back its performance levels to cool down. A good CPU cooler ensures your processor stays cooler for longer, so it can run at its fastest speeds as much as possible. That means programs and games that can benefit from your processor ramping up to its clock speeds for maximum performance. With a robust enough cooling solution, you can even keep running at those high speeds indefinitely or push your processor beyond its factory settings. Some can even keep your processor cool without making a ton of noise. The fifth product on our list is the Scythe Big Shuriken 3. The best low-profile cooler. The market is filled with low-profile CPU coolers because they are cheap to produce and fit into every case. The problem is, most of them aren't much better than stock coolers. If you want top gaming performance in a small package, your best bet is the $50 Scythe Big Shuriken 3, released in 2022. At only 67mm in height, it has 5 heat pipes and a slim 120mm fan. It also offers complete RAM clearance and a neutral color scheme. One of the most iconic low-profile coolers on the PC market, the Big Shuriken 3 Reverend B now goes darker base style, with a new Kaze Flex 2 PWM fan in black. The newly developed Kaze Flex fan, ramp up to 1800 RPM, now offers improved performance thanks to a new fan frame. No hesitation, the Big Shuriken 3 Reverend B is your ideal cooling solution for the SFF system, Mini ITX, HTPC. Vertically thin cutout design will not overhang the RAM slot as well as the I/O port. The Big Shuriken 3 Reverend B now can be installed reversely as per user's wishes. Just like a real Shuriken, works pretty cool in any direction. Number 4. Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 280. The best all-in-one liquid cooler. Radiators marketed as 360mm may sound better than those 280mm, but this naming scheme only takes into account the combined length of the fans, and ignores their width. Spinning at the same speed, two 140mm fans will cool almost as well as three 120mm ones, while making less noise, being easier to maintain, and fitting into cases with 5.25 inches bays. At $110, we can't ignore the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2 280, the winner of the CPU Coolers category at the 2022 European Hardware Awards. Its two 140mm fans are capable of spinning at speeds between 200 and 1700 RPM. The pump itself is kept cool by a 40mm fan, which helps cooling the motherboard's VRM as well. An ARGB version, with fans that can reach 1900 RPM, is available for $125. With 6 years of warranty, this is a great value. The third product on this top is the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Black Edition. The best value air CPU cooler. It is priced at around $60. Rocking just one 120mm fan, this cooler won't offer the same performance as say the Noctua NHD15, but you're also saving more than half when it comes to money. It's a PWM blower too, allowing the motherboard or your favorite software to manage the fan curve and avoid too much noise emanating through the case. The Cooler Master Hyper 212 isn't the largest cooler out there, but it's a substantial upgrade over cheaper coolers, as well as stock coolers from Intel and AMD. This does mean you shouldn't have any issues installing even larger sticks of system memory. The design is also stealthy, allowing the cooler to fit in with many case designs, and the RGB-enabled fan is far from obnoxious. The second product on our list is the NZXT Kraken X53. The best liquid CPU cooler you can get it at a reasonable price of $140. The water block on the X53 isn't dull by any standards. NZXT put a little more effort in by installing a mirror effect window with RGB lighting. It's rotatable post-installation, which makes the AIO easier to install on the latest processors without needing to position the block just right. Speaking of installation, NZXT supports up to LGA 1700 and AM5, so you can use this thing to cool the very best CPUs on the market. You will be able to use an Intel Core i9 or AMD Ryzen 9 processor with the NZXT X53, but we'd recommend against overclocking the chips, as this would put additional strain on the 240mm radiator. You'd want to have at least 360mm or 420mm of surface area, with an additional fan, for overclocking said processors. NZXT's CAM software is much better than before, making monitoring and managing the AIO a breeze. Overall, it's just an excellent AIO without pointless features you may never use. And finally, the first product here on our list is the Noctua NHD15. It is priced at around $100. You won't find any flashy RGB lighting or aggressive design elements. In fact, Noctua coolers are also known for being among the dullest in terms of aesthetic, but these coolers are all about performance. 6 massive heat pipes are joined by a dense fin stack and 2 140mm blowers to create an excellent cooler. The fans themselves support PWM for automated speed control and fine-tuned profiles, but the stack also allows for considerable airflow to pass through, doubling up as a motherboard component cooler. This is something AIO liquid coolers suffer with since the CPU block replaces active cooling, resulting in less board airflow. Like any air cooler out there, it's only going to be as good as the airflow inside the case. So long as you have an adequate number of fans attached to the chassis, the NHD15 should be able to perform as designed. Full support for most Intel and AMD sockets is available too, including LGA 1700 and AM5. Thermal paste is included for easier installation. And thanks to the sheer volume of passive cooling and the 2 140mm fans, this thing will run quietly even at higher CPU loads. Unless you're overclocking an Intel Core i9 or AMD Ryzen 9 CPU, you won't even notice the NHD15. There is a black version of the NHD15 available, in case the renowned Noctua brown color isn't quite your thing.